Yeah, Alex, I know this is a different level opponent than y'all saw last week and you will see here moving forward, but when you look at what your defense was able to do tonight, what kind of steps forward do you see that they took? Is there anything that's still concerning to you out there, and just how much better do you feel like your group played tonight versus a week ago?
I think probably in a lot of ways we play better. I mean, you referenced the level of competition, but also against that level of competition you should play a certain way. And I thought I'll rewind the clock to preparation over the course of the week. I thought was better regardless of opponent. I don't believe as coaches we changed this week, but the thing that changed over the course of the last 5 days or so was our players. We prepared with an intent. We were, kind of willing to do the hard stuff over the course of the week. And you're not always, obviously guaranteed to reap the benefits on Saturdays and that. But this time out we were. And I think the chief thing that I think we walk away from the game with is knowing that we got a lot of guys opportunities to play. Some by design, some obviously as a result of the score. And these are games that we didn't have last year, and that's something in these first 2 weeks, and maybe it almost bit us a week ago, and I got to admit that. But we didn't have these non-conference games. Obviously we had one last week, and then immediately into bye, and then you're right into the conference slate, and if memory serves me, that didn't go real well for us early. And so I think taking advantage of these 2 weeks before Nebraska, and we know what's coming. The level of competition rises. That's why you come to Oklahoma. But to achieve the opportunity to get a lot of guys, games are different, and to get a lot of guys playing time over the last 2 weeks has been good.
Sure. Yeah, Alex, some of the guys that are getting playing time, a lot of them are freshmen. You look out there at one point, I think there were 4 freshmen just in the 21 class, but then you also see some redshirt freshmen. You see some sophomores from last year across the board. And this was in the second quarter. So just comment on the freshman class specifically. They looked real good in high school. They looked real good on signing day, but are they exceeding expectations?
I think several of them are. I mean, I highlight, I think the Trell McCutcheon is coming on. Practicing better that way. Ethan Downs, we've been real excited about really since day one. Danny Stutzman is another one. And Clayton Smith's played quite a bit of football already, which has been good. And again, going back to that point, there was very few opportunities to get some of those freshmen a year ago. You mentioned those redshirt guys. You're sitting there 4 or 5 weeks into the season and you haven't seen them play games. And one of the lessons we learned over the COVID year was you get better playing football, playing games. And obviously you get better practicing. There's no doubt about it. But I think if you look across the country, those teams that didn't get a chance to play a lot of games, rarely exceeded expectations. You get better playing the game. It's 85,000 people. It's different than practice. It just is. So in that respect, again, some by design and some the opportunity presented itself tonight to get even more guys out there. But we thought we were just responsible on our part to use these first 2 weeks and get a lot of guys an opportunity, so we get a chance to evaluate them and say, with us, we want is the best DB or the best linebacker, the best D lineman is standing next to us, and we never find out when the lights come on if he can handle it. And so again, it's still up in the air whether it's going to work out for us, but in event, it's been good to watch those guys.
Mason Young.
Hey, Alex, you talked earlier in the week about Shane Witter needing to be more accountable for you guys. Is the play he made tonight something that can spur him for further on in this season? And was also curious for your thoughts about Bryson Washington, what he was able to do tonight with the turnovers.
Well, I think in both cases, there's been a level of frustration in me and the rest of the defensive coaches in terms of what we haven't gotten out of those two individuals in particular. And that very interesting class a year ago when you come in during what was such a strange obviously 2020 for everybody, but imagine being a college freshman your first time out. And I didn't think we got enough out of that class a year ago. and was really, really disappointed. One in our, chiefly in our inability to get it out of them, but number two, their inability to rise to the occasion last year. And I think it continued into spring. I think it continued into fall camp. And the message to these guys is, if you prepare the right way, you do the things that you're coached to do, and you do so with a high level of effort. We want you in the game. As we tell these guys, we don't bring you to Oklahoma to watch football. You can watch us on your couch, every Saturday. We brought you here to play. And so, in Shane's case, like I mentioned, I've been frustrated. I expect more from him. He can run. He has a lot of the skill sets that we look for a linebacker, in particular, the ability to use speed and be elite that way. Same thing. Bryson's one of the fastest guys on our team, and they got to practice that way, and ultimately they got to play that way. It's trending in the right direction. But by no means it's something that is quote unquote fixed, but it's certainly the right steps.
Thanks, Alex.
Yes.
James Hill.
Alex, tonight you got a shutout. It's not easy to get a shutout in college football. Today, I realize the opponent, but still they drove on you in the second half a little bit. They got in position. You guys made plays. What's your thoughts on getting a shutout?
Well, we threatened the guys in the second half, and they were going to run them on Monday if they scored a touchdown, and that was the motivation was those older guys to help those younger guys out. And so I don't know if they were thrilled with the takeaways as much as they were just thrilled with the fact that the drive stopped. But I thought that energy level was good, with some of the older guys leading some of those younger guys that got opportunities. And, one of your biggest frustrations is you give, guys an opportunity, regardless of what the scoreboard reads. As we tell them, every opportunity is an opportunity. So often these guys say, well, Coach, if you just gave me a chance, I'd show you. Well, tonight was a pretty good opportunity for a lot of guys, and so happy for those guys that they took advantage of it almost to the man, and something moving forward that now we got game reps that we get a chance to evaluate of some of those younger guys.
Hey, congrats.
Thank you.
Byron Patton.
You didn't have the mental bust that you had in week one. I mean, the opponent, yes, wasn't up to what you're going to face, but I didn't know this guy's running free like last week.
Yeah, and the minute you bring it up, I'm as a competitor, I'm not over it, right? As a professional, you have to be, and you got to move on and all that stuff. And I have said it before. It's always 1 week evaluations, and it's a responsible thing to do as a coach to keep it right there, because you can, with small sample sizes, you can go to one extreme or the other, or you can hang on to past successes or past failures, which really have no impact on the coming week. But again, those still frustrate me. They didn't all of a sudden become okay, as we sit here tonight, and they're not forgiven, right? But certainly, and I go back to the week of preparation. I think guys have a little bit of a reminder to the older guys and a lesson to the younger guys that the things that we practice, we want to see in games. And we got to take advantage of having, not to make any claim that we have an answer for everything as coaches, but in the same token, we take a lot of pride in not putting our guys in a situation where they can't be successful. But in the moment, they're on the field and they got to go do it. As we tell them, you're the coordinator, make the call. As long as you play the call, 11 guys doing the same thing, we're going to be all right. And obviously that wasn't the case, certainly at the level it should have been a week ago. And so, again, tonight better, and on to the next week, and we got to make sure that we're doing things the right way over the course of Monday through Friday, so we can play at a higher level next Saturday than we did this Saturday.
Jenny Carlson.
Hey, Alex, you referenced a couple different times this Nebraska matchup, and I'm curious. When the series was announced, I think you were still at Missouri, so you were a little ways away from being in the position you are right now. But to have this matchup, I know that the guys, have a sense that it's big. But how do you sort of communicate to them just the magnitude of the rivalry without sort of letting that get in the way of preparation and all the things that come with a normal game?
Sure, I think just as a football fan, you're talking about two of the historically, elite programs in this country. And so, having experience against them over the years at a couple different places, the quality of football. Obviously, Coach Frost does a tremendous job. I think it's exciting. Like I mentioned, I mean, that's why you come to places like Oklahoma. We chose here as coaches, as players, the same, and you want to play against high level guys. And again, there's something about college football that includes the history of it. And as obviously every year is a new year and that, but by no means are we, the fact that Nebraska, being who Nebraska is and has been for a long time, coming into our place, we have a respect level for that and appreciation for the opportunity.
Okay, time for two more. Brandon Drum.
Alex, you got the two freshmen that kind of stood out, I guess, for me today was Danny Stutzman and Ethan Downs. Can you talk about just their energy and the game that they had? And can you also talk about Perion Winfrey and just kind of his growth from the middle of last year till now? And I guess maturity on and off the field.
Yeah. I'll start with Perion. I think the biggest thing, he was a disruptor for us, last year, but didn't have a lot of production. I think he was disappointed by that. I think we expect more from him that way, to not just get in the backfield, but make plays when he's back there. Reference it, and it applies, obviously with a senior class, if you're a senior, it's a contract year for you. And I say that bluntly to him. It's a contract year. There's no other way to describe it. And so, you got to make sure that, production is shown, not just at times or in moments, but a level of consistency that way. And I think he's just becoming more of a consistent guy. I think that we still, it's a junior college guy that comes in again during 2020. You don't get to work with him near as much as you otherwise would have, as a mid-year guy, but then you immediately send him home. And so, it's a crash course right now for Coach Tibbs to continue to bring him along. But I'm excited about what he can be, and we need him to be that sooner rather than later. And then you mentioned the freshman. Excited about Danny. Excited about Ethan. I think about Kelvin Gilliam. Want to temper your expectations of some of those young guys, and not to put too much on them. But kind of thrilled with where they're at right now, and let's get more of them.
And Ryan Eber.
Yeah, Alex, sticking with that theme of freshmen, I know you touched on him earlier when you were answering John's question, but Latrell McCutcheon, what have you seen from him, especially this week leading up, got his first start tonight, and how do you think he performed?
Yeah, I think didn't have a lot, in terms of getting challenged tonight. So kind of the verdict is still out. We've been battling consistency at corner. There's a brand of and style of play we want on the back end and specifically at corner. And so really have challenged those guys to bring that. I don't think it's been consistent enough in practice. And one of the messages to some of those guys is if we can't get it out of an older guy, we might well put a freshman out there. And so his level's got to go up. That whole room's level got to go up, and we expect it to. I think we got the right guys in that room. I think the talent level is there, the athleticism is there, and we got to make sure that the aggressiveness and the consistency matches that, and so that and that's obviously every position. I don't want to just say it, but specific to that, but that's where we stand after 2 weeks, and we'll continue to based on how guys practice, determine who the starters will be each and every week.
Appreciate it, Alex.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Coach. That's all for tonight. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.